October 2nd, 2018, live day trading. Like always, I gotta recite my 3 rules, my process, which is to scan, survey, and submit. So my stock scanner is scanning through stocks that meet my criteria. Once I find those stocks, I survey those stocks. I look for buy, sell areas for support and resistance, and then I submit orders. Try to submit as many orders as I possibly can, so that way I can collect the data. I'm not trading with real money. The whole purpose of this is just to collect the data. Alright, so far there are 4 stocks on my scanner that I'm looking through. I don't see much happening. I gotta wait for the first 5 minutes to close out to see what levels may be pulling up. So I got this SFIX, DDD, CLVS, and MDB. Alright, so I have 5 stocks that are currently on my list. So those are going to be the 5 that I watch for today. I usually like more, but you know, it is what it is. So SFIX, huge drop, 45 down to 34. I mean, that's, wow, it's almost a 20% drop. But it's kind of getting stuck. It's got 1 million shares right here. If it breaks that, it might keep going. If it breaks the 3405, okay, it just hit 34, so we'll see what happens when it hits 34. If it breaks 34, it might keep going. I just don't have an entry on that. Yep, there it goes. Let's see what happens. To me, there's not much of an entry because, you know, that's a 71 cent. I'd have to put my stop up here. I don't know if it's just going to keep going that far. I'd rather build some other kind of level that I can place my stop at. CLVS is really getting up there. MDB, I don't know why this stock just kind of had a big volume, but yeah, I'm going to get this off my... Just going to get this off my list. Alright, so now 4 stocks. That's all I've got. Got to search through these 4 because these are the only 4 that popped up on my scanners. So I'm not, you know, it's one of my rules. I just got to trade what's on the scanner because these type of stocks are going to react differently than other types. You know, I look for very particular criteria, and if I try to trade these patterns with stocks that don't meet my initial criteria of volume and volatility, then maybe those patterns aren't going to follow through. Wow, look at that. 500,000 shares right there. So kind of broke, but got stuck. A lot of volume, a lot of buyers came in. A lot of buyers came in right there. $300,000 shares, 71 cent range, 35 cent range. So it's almost twice the volume and half the movement. So that means there's a big battle going on right here. See what else we got going on. ABX. This area right here is a couple days ago. That's the high. That's the high. Where that yellow line's at that I'm drawing. That's from the 28th. I think actually if it gets in, what's the spread on that? 1 cent spread. I mean, this stock doesn't move a whole lot, but you might be able to take some decent size on it. I mean, it averages 12, 18 million shares a day. I'm thinking if this hits 32, alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a buy order. It's going to be VWAP area, previous day's resistance, or not previous day, but previous resistance, and I'm going to do a really tight stop, like a 4-cent stop on this. Again, my shares, this is a demo account, so the shares in my algorithms represent where my stop would be. Cool. So we'll see what happens with that. I like this initial run up. 500,000 shares pushing it up. Yeah, I like that. We'll just see how it comes down into it. If it comes down into it. Cool, so this actually ended up working out. It's coming down, which I thought it might. The question was, and I gotta figure these out. This big initial opening volume, the follow through. I don't know where the entry. I mean, I was doing just the break of this bar, this opening 5-minute bar. I would sell the break, and I just got murdered so often. So I know I'm missing something. I'm missing something with the probabilities. The type of stock, maybe the float of the stock, maybe, I don't know. This is huge volume. Let me look it up on Finviz, see what's going on. Let's see. So it's a 4.5 billion market cap. This is crazy to me. It's a $4.5 billion market cap, but the income is only 26 million. Only 26 million. That's crazy to me. That doesn't seem like much. The last company I was working for, I was pulling in just by myself 3 to 4 million a year, and I was just one person for this, for this company. And this is like a $4 billion company, and they're only pulling in 26 million. That's weird. That doesn't make a lot of sense. $26 million doesn't even seem like enough to cover wages for employees. Okay, let's see what happens with this. It's coming down on light volume. $26. Oh, you know what? I think 31. If I do 4, will be 27. That would be my stop. I actually make that stop a little bit bigger. Oops. 6. 31, because I want it to be 25. Cool. Came down, hit me. So let's go to my sell bracket, 31. 6 cents, so I'm looking at 43. 12 cents. So that's what I needed to get up to. And my stop, it's gonna be 26, 25. There we go. There's my stop. There we go. We'll see what happens. And this, look at this, man. 200,000 shares right here. That's cool. I mean, you could get in with 10,000 shares on a stock like this, I would think. So I like that. It came into this VWAP area, previous support or previous resistance, now support. I can do this kind of trade over and over and over again. I can do this trade many times over and look at the stats, see how it works out. And that's the most important thing to me. Being able to validate trade ideas with actual statistics instead of just, oh, I just get in here, get in there. That's what I was doing before. So right now on SFIX, let's see, 34 seems like a pretty solid level. If it breaks into 34, that's where the VWAP's at now. You have these, this is what I like. So you have this volume right here. There was a big war, big fight right here in this area, and then boom, it broke through. It broke through. So if it comes in, what's the 35? So right now it's a $2.30 move. That's what the range is on this today. So I don't, I usually want to take about 20-30 cents risk. If the stocks only move like, let's say $1, I don't want to take $1 of risk. I want to take 10 to 20 cents. And that's something I'm working on, because maybe my stops might be too tight. But you have this volume on this 5. It'd be nice if it came up to around 30. I think that would be a good sell area around 34, just because of the other things going on. So I'm going to set the sell for 34. Let's do this, 34. Which I know it's a whole number, so it might get kind of weird in that area. It may not even hit that area. And the question is, where do you set the stop? And I'm just going to set it above this pivot, which is 20. So I'm going to set a 30-cent stop, which is going to be above that pivot, because it kind of hit, went up, and just went down. Okay, so the idea would be, if it comes up into light volume, be coming around the VWAP area, and then if I have 30 cents, I should be able, at least be able to get 60 cents out of that move. I mean, all these are moving. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. This one's still coming down. See what we got going. So the 10-day ATR average true range on the stock is 40 cents. And so far today, the stock has only moved 22 cents. So that's another thing I look at, is the average true range. Let me see, just taking a couple notes. So for instance, this stock came in with pretty good volume compared to what it normally is. So like, this is the 5-minute chart over here. The volume, if I look at typical open volume, it's pretty high. Pretty high compared to what it normally opens at. So there might be something going on. I'm not big on looking into news. I just get confused with the news. So I don't know, maybe that's something I got to figure out too. Oh, look at it go. But yeah, so far this has moved 20, a little over 20 cents, but the average true range is about 40 cents. So if this has moved 20, it seems to me that it can go 20 cents up or 20 cents down, because the average, you know, if it just gets in that average true range. So making a play here, and all I'm looking for is 12-cent move. That gives me my 2-to-1. So even if it moves, it's still within the average ATR. Just something to consider, you know. And again, I'm working on the statistics and the probabilities of that. I mean, that's the thing with trading. There's literally, I can't even count. I have so many statistics that I'm working on for stocks. Average true range statistics, VWAP. There's so many things that I want to know. I want to know, you know, if a stock opens with higher volume than the previous day, you know, what are the odds that it's going to move more than the average true range? So if it opens with big volume, the average true range is 40, is there more or less likely of a chance that it's going to have more than a 40-cent move today? You know, just simple binary yes or no type answers that I want that I don't have. Because if I know that this stock, ABX, let me just check these real quick. Yeah, not a whole lot going on in here. It's kind of interesting. Big volume comes down. Yeah, but I know if I can look at it very simply and go, hey, I know there's a 70% chance that this stock opened with higher volume. There's a 70% chance that the average true that this stock is going to move further than the average true range. The average true range is 40 cents. I knew since it opened up with volume and it gapped that there's a 70% chance that it's going to, you know, make a bigger move than 40 cents. So then if the stock's only moved 20 cents, then I just know, hey, I can get into this trade, and I still expect a big movement, a bigger movement. I may be on the wrong side of that movement, but that's what I want. I want bigger movements. Not seeing a whole lot. And again, I don't know what's going to be viable or not, but that's why I'm putting these algorithms together. That's why I'm trying to figure this stuff out. This is interesting right here. See, this would have been one of those scenarios where the break of this bar really would have worked. Just an opening range. You have this opening range, opening bar, and it broke down. This is a trade I struggle with so much because I've been whipped out so many times, and yet I see it work so many times. So this is one that I'm really working on, trying to figure out what kind of entries, what kind of exits, what do I need to do here? Because I see this happen so often where you have this opening range, it gaps down, opening range, ton of volume, and I miss the trade or I get in wrong, and I'm just not seeing clearly how to get in. I was doing this thing where I just would sell as soon as it broke, you know, so as soon as this breaks I would sell, but then I was getting whipped out. You know, maybe my stops were too tight. I don't know. But that's all the kind of thing. Like, I want to look at this trade and not even have to think about it. Just not even have to think about it. I'm taking a couple notes here. That's going to be key. Is if I got to look at a stock and I got to think really hard what I should do, there's probably not a lot of edge there. I'm trying to make it up as I go along. I want to be able to look at a stock and just go, oh, hey, this is it. I know this has a 70% chance of doing this. Or, hey, this only has a 40% chance of working out, but the profit to loss ratio is going to be, 3-to-1. So if it has a 40% chance of working out, but the profit to loss is going to be 3-to-1, I'm going to take that trade. But I just don't have those stats in my head right now. So that's why I'm programming every day. That's why I'm trying to figure this out. That's why I'm gathering this data. That's why I'm doing this live day trading, to gather information to see how the markets work every day. this one just keeps tanking. So this might be a green to red move. So this dotted line right here, this is the open right here. It's where it opened at. So if it crosses down, it was green, and now it's going to be red. I know that's a particular type of trading strategy too, is the green to red or red to green move. But for me, I have to, it doesn't make any sense for me to place a trade if I don't know how to label the trade, if I don't know how to mark the trade, if I don't know how to analyze the trade, if I don't know how to tag it. I mean, that's really important, is just to know, how do I tag these trades? That way I can read the stats on it. How do I tag the trade to figure out the probabilities of it? How do I make it a repeatable process? And that's the key. People want consistency in trading. They have to do consistent things. You know, if you do something different every day, you're not going to be consistent. So I want to look at, the idea is, if I say I have a trade, we'll just, you know, I don't know, we'll call it Rich's great trade. I don't know. I have a trade set up. I call it Rich's great trade. You know, if I have a chart or a folder full of charts that all say Rich's great trade, I should be able to scan through those charts and see just such a similarity between every single trade. Oh, that's a Rich's great trade setup. That's exactly, every day it looks the same. There's no ambiguity. There's no, I mean, it's so you can spot it a mile away. Oh, this might be going up. So yeah, tagging the trades is of utmost importance. That way you can have that consistency. Do the same thing over and over again. I mean, how do you know if it works out if you don't have the stats? You want to be able to look at a trade and, yeah, I did that trade a couple hundred times, and this is how it works out. Man, this stock is really tanking. Look at that. So let's talk about GE real quick. GE was a trade I did yesterday, and oh man. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at GE still tanking. Look at that. Look at that, Jesus. So let's look at what I did yesterday. The embarrassment that was my trade. If you see in the video, I got in, I forget where I got in. I think I got in somewhere around here. I set my stop, I believe it was 73. So it came up, and then I think it was on this. I think I got stopped out right here. Got stopped out right here. So I sold over here, got stopped out, and then just look what happened. I mean, just, if you, here, let's pull over the 5 minute. So this is where I got stopped out. It just tanked. And I've been doing that a lot lately, where my stops are in the exact, I'm talking exact wrong place. The exact place I should have sold is where I bought it back. I sold in here. I mean, but I do that a lot, but it's cool because there's consistency there. So if there's consistency in every time I'm doing it, then I just need to make fine, you know, fine little adjustments, and I can work that out. And I was talking about yesterday how much size you can take on a stock like this. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can get in here, look at that, 1 million shares in here, 1 million shares, 1.1 million. You build up an account, you can take some size. I mean, imagine if you had, you know, 100,000 shares, and the stock, you know, goes down. You get in at the 70s. You get in where 70s or so, and you just hold it for even some of this move. Let's say it comes down, God, it's 50. I mean, you can make 50, 100, a couple 100,000 off this one trade. I mean, this is crazy. That's what the big boys are doing. That's why I don't mess with the low float. That's why I don't mess with, these chat rooms and some of this stuff, because their strategies a lot of times are never going to build up to that kind of money. You know what I mean? Like, you get in with the GE trade and you know what you're doing, and you say, hey, it breaks or whatever. You get in, you load up a couple 100,000 shares. I mean, this type of stock, you find a couple of these. I mean, you don't need these every day to make money. You don't need these trades every day. I'm not into making a trade every day. Let me just check my other things, see what's going on here. Yeah, this one's still, it's going. You know what? This is interesting right here. Let me look at this. 200,000. This is a pretty strong level right here. There's not enough volume. I don't like the volume. Only 12,000 shares. Not really a lot of shares. That's the other thing when you're paper trading. It's really important to do it realistically. If I want to build a strategy where I'm taking a ton of shares, I can't assume like a stock like this, oh yeah, I would buy 100,000 shares. Well, really? Because there's only 3,000 shares that it's really moving the market. So on a stock like GE that I was just looking at, it's realistic, especially in this time, to say, hey, I would take 100,000 shares. Maybe not all at once. You take 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. I mean, when you got 1 million plus shares in that's a 1 minute bar. It's got over 1 million shares. So when you're paper trading, you have to look at the stock, look at the volume, and be realistic. I can realistically say, if I had the capital to back it, I could take 100,000 shares, 200,000 shares. And a stock like DDD, I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. See what else we got going on here. Oh, looks like it might hit. Looks like it actually might hit. We will see. And this I couldn't take. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty decent. You could probably take 10,000 shares in a stock like this. I mean, we'll see what happens. Bam, got tagged out. Cool. So on ABX, look, I love this type of trade. Just taking notes here. So why do I like this type of trade? It's repeatable. I mean, it's so repeatable. Let me take some notes here. So previous high, VWAP, and volume. Okay, so let's recap this trade real quick. There's not a lot going on in the market, so I can take a little bit of time. Let me see. This trade, so yeah, if you look over here, scan this over this way. So this was it right here. This was the previous high I was talking about. So this little blue, let's get this out of the way. This little blue mark is where I bought, right around that previous day high, right? What else did we have? We had strong volume pushing it up, which I liked. Around a VWAP area. Those are all, you know, that's a repeatable trade that I can make many times over, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And I can run the stats on that particular trade. All right, let's see what else we have here. Man, this never came back up. Let me go ahead and cancel that out. So there doesn't seem to be really much else going on. I would love to trade, make a few more trades, but I mean, I don't see any. Just really don't. It'll be interesting to see just how far this actually goes up today. So yeah, recount previous high, VWAP, and the volume area. So this is the volume area right here, right? Big volume. Almost 500,000 shares right here. So I know there's buyers in this area, and that's you know, I like to look for volume areas. If there was a lot of buyers here last time, you know, maybe there's going to be more when it comes back down. So a lot of buyers. You see this red with the volume, but there's still a lot of buyers. I mean, and ultimately the buyers won because it kind of came up, came down, didn't pivot lower, a little bit of a pivot higher. So that's why I was expecting to go higher, plus the previous high, plus it was around the VWAP. See, I didn't trade right on the VWAP. You know, I didn't wait till it just hit. I mean, it's hard to tell because it's only a 1-2 cent. It's not huge, but you have all those things going on in this. All right, I think that it's pretty straightforward for today. So yesterday I lost one, today I won one, but I lost, you know, one risk unit. Today I made 2 risk units. So that's pretty cool. That's the other thing, when this came in, there was a volume. See that big volume spike. All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day.